Now, the latest confusion at Integrity Center has rekindled memories of the intrigues that have dogged Kenya's war on corruption for nearly 20 years now. KTN's Rita Tinina now looks back at the numerous false starts and why the latest developments should be cause for concern.
This building remains famous for the great soundbites that have come from here.
We think none harm, do none harm, wish none harm. We only attack corruption, and if corruption has a residence in your person, we must deal with you because you accommodate corruption.
The director liveth between the hammer of his friends and the anvil of his opponents.
But Kenya's war on graft has been dogged by intrigues right from the beginning. It started with this man, John Haron Mwau, who in December 1997 was appointed the first director of the then newly created Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority. But the ex-policeman would soon run into trouble when he sought to prosecute 4 top treasury and tax officials over an alleged fraud on non-collection of taxes relating to wheat and sugar imports. A tribunal was quickly put together to prosecute Mwau, and in November of 1998, he resigned, sending Kenya's anti-corruption war on a spiral. It turned out that Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority had been given powers to prosecute without an amendment to the Constitution that at the time confined such powers to the office of the Attorney General.
Banauriri, who gave you authority to write these things to me? Have you read the Prevention of Corruption Act? Have you read?
Justice Ringera, who as Solicitor General had been a witness at the Mwau Tribunal, was later appointed as the new director of KACA in March of 1999. But on December 22, 2000, the courts finally dealt KACA a death blow, declaring it unconstitutional. With pressure mounting on the KANU government from both the IMF and the World Bank, the government appointed an anti-corruption police unit headed by a former deputy director of KACA, Swale Slim, to take over all the 139 cases that were being investigated by the authority. But the unit's mandate remained unclear, and its independence was questioned by critics. A ray of hope came in 2003, when in the early days of the NACA administration, the Kenya Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act was passed, putting in place the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, KACC. And once again, Ringera was given the job of reviving Kenya's faltering war on graft. Ringera would become famous for his Shakespeare quotes and promises of fire and brimstone for the corrupt. But he had to bow out on the 30th of September 2009 when Parliament refused to endorse his reappointment on claims that his fishing expeditions had come to naught.
And for those who perennially complain that cars only deals with the small fish, let me ask you to reflect on this.
He declared that the war on corruption would never succeed until the commission was given powers to prosecute, to seize assets and passports, and require public officials to declare wealth whenever it deemed fit. But the commission was in for more drama. Next on stage, Professor Patrick Loch Otieno Lumumba.
In the next 2 to 3 weeks, we expect that about between 5 and 10 high voltage files, 5 to 8 high voltage files.
PLO would hit the ground running, even joining street demonstrations on occasion. But his Waterloo would come in the middle of 2010 when he declared that he was training his guns on top officials and members of parliament.
Fight against corruption will be conducted without fear, favor, or ill will, for the sake of this country and for the sake of this generation and generations yet to be born.
That would pave way for a fresh controversy over the appointment of Lumumba as the chairperson of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The latest intrigues bear the hallmarks of an all too familiar pattern. But with the talk of corruption in every major public institution, the big question now is whether Lumumba's commission will still have the energy to lead the fight. Rita Tinina, KTN, Nairobi.